What's up, iWaited family? So I have a new installment for you guys. I have this my friend Dalton here.
Hey.
He's single, ladies. Single. So I'm starting a new series where I want to interview men who are waiting. Men, not just although Dalton's in ministry, not just men in ministry, but just men who are waiting and who are doing this walk of purity along with us ladies. And so Dalton's someone I met a few months ago. Visited. He leads.
A cell group.
Oh, a cell group. Okay.
Yeah, you call it a cell group. Yeah.
Yeah. So he leads a cell group for his church in our area, and I got invited by one of my friends, and it's been really great. So I've been going like it's my church every week, and so I'm really faithful, right? I'm really excited about just what God is doing in his ministry, and also just in seeing a young male in ministry that's actually walking this walk of purity and abstinence. And so I wanted to talk to him and just kind of get his thoughts as a male and just as a man and see what it's like on the other side.
Right.
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do
this. Okay, so we've already said your name is Dalton. Tell us how old you are and tell us what what you do for.
All right. So I'm 27 years old. Born and raised here in Miami. My parents are from Jamaica originally, and I graduated with my master's in business from the University of Miami. And hey, it's all about the get out of here. And I work in sales and marketing, and I'm venturing to do some other stuff with my degree.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your upbringing. Like, were you raised in the church?
Yeah. So born and raised. My parents were married, still married, been married. They'll be celebrating like their 32nd wedding anniversary this year.
That's awesome.
And I was raised in church, so I was christened. I was, the kid at the altar. I was that guy loving the Lord at a young age. So I always had that environment, that upbringing, and I always knew about God and the relationship with Jesus Christ from an early age.
Okay, awesome. So I know that you were raised in the church, but has there ever been a time where you kind of like broke off from the church? Yeah. So has there ever been like a quote unquote before Christ Dalton?
There was. Listen, we're all sinners saved by grace. No one's born speaking in tongues and loving the Lord and all that stuff. But I was born in a Christian home and gave my life to the Lord at an early age. Mm-hmm. But up to the age of 20, I was a part of my old church, and I got kicked out. So
first of all,
long story.
Who gets kicked out of church?
Long story.
The first time you told me this, I was like, how do you get kicked out of church?
Long story. I honestly, no offense. I have no hard feelings towards them. I bless them. I even spoke with them, and we're good now because God redeems. But when that happened, I actually went into the world, and I never knew the world. I never knew sin. I never knew a lifestyle of just blatantly doing what I wanted to do and just living the way that I felt I wanted to live. And I did everything. I was in the clubs, I was drinking, I was smoking, I was doing drugs, running around. Like you said, I was a kid in the candy shop. I was out there just in fornication, and it was eating at me because I knew who Christ was, and I knew who God was, and I knew how important that relationship with God was. So even though I was engaging with all of these sinful things that I felt was pleasurable, at the end of the day, I felt empty and void, and I knew it was leading to nothing good. So.
Okay. So how did you end up coming back to church and getting into ministry?
So I went to, I did my undergrad here in Miami as well, and there was a friend of mine who attends the same ministry I'm at now, and this girl reached out to me because she saw all the pictures on Instagram and Facebook, but she knew I once walked with God before, and she's like, hey, yo, what's going on? And she was like, God has a purpose for your life, and she was inviting me to come to her cell group, the one that that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And
that's
so she invited She invited me to come to her cell group, and I lied to her, and I told her I was going out of town, and I wasn't. I was literally going to hang out and smoke with my friends. So that was I was
smoke that icky.
But what happened was the same night that I planned to smoke was the same night God planned to encounter me. And I had an encounter with God in the midst of the darkness. There was no one praying for me there on the spot, but this girl prayed for me. I had an encounter with God. I gave my life to Christ, and then a week later I was in church, and it began my process with God. And as I just said yes to Christ, and that's one of the things I didn't want position again. I didn't want anything like that. I just wanted to restore that relationship with God and really get back to the place of Him being my first love, and really walking that walk with Him. And as I said yes to Him, things just gradually increased. I said yes again. I said yes again. I said yes again, and it brought me to the place where I am now.
Awesome. So what has shaped like your convictions as a male in ministry, or like has there been anyone that has shaped your? I ask because I, as a woman in ministry, I've seen so many men,
loose ones.
Loose ain't even the word. Loose men, and just men who don't seem to have any conviction of the Holy Spirit. And so I wonder, like, is there anybody that fears God anymore? Have you had accountability? Like, what has led to your convictions as a male?
You know, honestly, like, and I'm gonna tell the truth, like, when I first gave my yes back to Christ, my life back to Christ, and I said yes to Him, I did fall, and I was a loose one. I was still, jumping over the fence and sneaking out. But then what happened was the conviction was really strong, and it really ate at me because I really wanted to do this thing right. And that's the thing. Like, my heart indeed was to please God. My desire was to do this thing right. And honestly, I felt like I needed to get it together, but I couldn't do it by myself. I knew I was failing. I knew, that it wasn't going to work on my own. So I was accountable to someone. And I'm actually backtrack. You said if there was anyone that really also involved, like, first, where it actually all began was my parents, number one, growing up, because they actually instilled in me that, you get married, then you have kids. And so I always had that perspective. But then number two, when I was really young, I had a chance to meet Pastor John Gray, who actually got married at 37, and he waited as a virgin his entire life, and he really gave us that message and spoke, and I really grabbed that for myself. So that was already something I treasured and valued. But then when I gave it all away, for the pleasures of the world, I try to get it back. And honestly, God is a redeemer. Jesus redeems. He redeems. So I believe that He can give you everything back. And I'm not trying to be all deep and spiritual, all that. But I believe He can restore that point of feeling pure and cleansed again.
Amen.
But when coming back to Christ, I still needed help. And I got a mentor. I gave myself to a mentor, and I was accountable. Like, when I messed up, I just left her house. It was like one of those type of things. Like, I'm in this situation. I did it again, and He would literally show me, like, you didn't just slip up, or you didn't just fall into it, or you didn't just make a mistake. You took, premeditated steps to get to that position. You planned. You booked the ticket. You bought the clothes. You printed the itinerary, and you got on that train to get to this location. And that's how it was. And that's something that I had to learn, that every action is actually premeditated and planned. Like, you have to make a thought out decision. And many times, like, that's what it is. No one wants to put themselves in a position where they have to process themselves mentally and say, I'm going to choose to make a decision and live by these convictions.
Right. So for the men who, like, you feel like they keep falling into the, the sin of fornication or whatever it is, like, what are some practical steps they can take? Because and I say this all the time, we have to know our triggers. Yeah. So you have to know what triggers you to fall back into sin.
That's good.
And so, like you said, you bought the ticket, you planned for it. So how do you get to the place where maybe you not answer her phone calls, or you stop watching porn, which you should, or not watch certain types of television or listen to certain types of music? How do you get to that place where you process yourself to get to a place where you actually hold on to abstinence?
And something I'm so real with this, because I mentor a lot of kids who come out of that same situation. And I look them in their face. I'm like, listen, like, you have to make a decision, first of all. Whatever your decision, do you want to be free from this? Do you want to be pure? Do you want to live holy? Do you want to do this thing right? Or don't you? And if you say yes, that you want to do this thing the right way, you have to take as much radical steps as you need to
Right.
get to where you want to go. And that means literally, I will sit with them and I wouldn't tell them what to do. I can't force you to do anything. It's going to be your decision. But I would see them, they would delete their entire Instagram. They will identify the triggers in their life. They will identify, you know what, I will see this girl's picture, I will delete her and block her.
Right.
Like they would take whatever steps they would say, I won't watch this movie, and whatever it takes. And honestly, for me, I had to do a whole cleansing. I literally had to delete apps. I had to delete phone numbers. I had to delete pictures. I had to block website. I put myself on that child protection on my phone. I'm like, I'm not going on pornography. I'm not going into any of those things because I need to keep myself accountable and keep myself safe. And then again, practical, like listen, when you feel those thoughts, don't be afraid to tell somebody that you're thinking those things, because those thoughts are the seeds. Like the thing that you think is a seed, and it may not trigger you to do something immediately, but that thing sits down on your mind and it waits for an opportunity. And that thing will sit there and wait for an opportunity. And the moment that opportunity comes, it's so rooted down on the inside of you, it just springs forward, and you don't know how you did it, but it happened 3 days ago. It happened when you watched, something on, watched the movie, and you didn't really guard yourself. Like the Bible says that that's all that's in the world is the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. And many times we're so proudful of our condition and how we stand, we don't say, hey, pray for me, my mind is here, or hey, look out for me when we go here. Keep yourself accountable with someone that they know that, like, that's a trigger for you, let me look out for you. And I've been to movie, and I have a friend who that was one of their triggers, like the things that they saw, like it would, like that thing would, like that. And whenever something will come up, and he's like, nah, he would literally practical turn himself away, and we would think that was immature, that's childish or whatever, but he would turn himself away, and he would avert his eyes from seeing whatever's on the screen. And then afterwards, it's like, God, like I just pray that doesn't get anywhere. And it wasn't. This guy now is married. He has his own home. Him and his wife have their jobs, and they're happy. And he will protect himself because he knew what he valued more than him falling into sin.
That's so good, and I think it's so practical. We have to take the practical steps, because I think we give the don't have sex, but we don't give like the practical. And so even in you talking, I'm a very visual person, like ridiculous. My mind captures stuff and it just holds it. And so even in being on Instagram, that was like last week sometime, I follow this guy who does hair. And so I love his hair videos, all this stuff. He's like the best. But he posted, and he's like a really handsome guy, but I don't like follow him because of that, because whatever. And so I don't. He's not my type.
I'm joking.
He's not my type, so I don't even like him like that. But anywho, he posted this picture the other day where, because a lot of women do follow him because he's really handsome, he posted this picture where he had on these shorts, and it was showing like all his business. And I was like, and literally Holy Spirit was like, you have one choice, to either keep following this guy, because you never know what's going to pop up on your feed, or to unfollow him. And I really love his hair videos, but I had to unfollow him because I really was trying. Listen, in a second, it's like your mind goes, oh my God.
Holiness or hell?
Holiness. I had to choose holiness. I really wanted to choose hair, but I had to stop following him because I was like, Lord have mercy, sir. And listen, I know that was the devil, because as soon as I opened Instagram, the first picture that popped up on my timeline, I was like, what is this? Sir, you do hair. That's why I follow you. And
I love the fact that you said that, the Holy Spirit brought that conviction. And even with the practical portions of our lives, we need the spiritual aspect of it, because without, all we are flesh. Like if we keep it practical, we will revert back to our fleshy state, and our old man, and all that stuff will be the same. But like involving the person of the Holy Spirit in your day-to-day life and the actions and how you live is actually one of the biggest things for me. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I pray and I seek God. I take my time, I get into the Word, I pray, and I give God the day to be involved. Like, be with me today, because by myself, man, I'm the worst. Like, I'm trash. Like, I'm a dog. Like, it's like that. But when the Holy Spirit shows up, He makes you more than what you really are. And it shows you the true value and the essence of who you are, and why you should value yourself more than giving yourself to anything that throws itself at you.
Okay.
So,
I heard you mention porn. So with the whole porn aspect, how did you get involved into like looking at porn or viewing porn?
I think that came more so even at like through high school, like through middle school, high school, around that time. It became, as the internet began to flourish and get more accessible. It got everywhere, and I saw that was an influence on my life. But even after coming out of fornication, it was like, if I can't go get it from somebody, then I'm gonna get online and find it somewhere, and trying to find that level of satisfaction.
Right.
But it still opened the door and desire to go and still seek out, engaging in sexual activity, because it's just all it's doing is sowing seeds, and it's just building a web, and just festering a very sick and dark desire. And I'm gonna tell you the truth, that was something I needed deliverance from. I needed God to set me free in that area. And just the images and the desires, and it built that level of projecting my desires off to another time, and even projecting desires on people. So even when I would see people, and I'm gonna tell the truth, and just like guys, we're visual, so those images will be playing in my head all the time. Even when I'm talking to someone and looking at someone, it's just like those images are still going in. So it brought the desire up. It was just like, it sounds very childish, but it was like that little monster waiting on the inside, and just waiting to jump out. And that's what it did. It just kept feeding for the opportunity. And honestly, like, some guys like, nah, man, every guy masturbates, or every guy who gets on pornography. It's not the case.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it's not the case. I know people who've never view pornography, and legit, like, they'll tell you, and they'll swear by they never view pornography, and you can see the truth in it. But honestly, I'm like, for real? And honestly, like, you can say, honestly, I've never viewed pornography. Like, that's the way I was raised, and it wasn't religiously, but it was a decision we made to cover and protect our family by not getting that into the house. And honestly, for me, I was like, I literally had to turn that thing off and wrestle with myself not to engage with that. So it took a while. I'm not gonna lie, like, that thing took a while. Like, I had to be accountable, because I was a very sexually active person. But then God really delivered me, washed me, and brought me to a place of purity, and that's something I covet more than anything else.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think a lot of people don't understand that. First of all, lust, the strong man of lust, is insatiable. Yeah. It's like being on drugs. Like, you always have to do more and more to get more and more high. Like, you always have to do. So you're going to add porn, you're going to add sex, you're going to add orgies, you're going to add, like, you just have to keep doing more stuff to feed that desire. And so when people start off with porn, it just leads to more. And like he said, it plays over and over in your mind, in your thoughts, and it literally controls, like, who you are. And like he said, you will need deliverance from porn. Porn is, I don't even know how to describe how deep it goes into corrupting your mind, corrupting your soul, corrupting your heart, corrupting even men going into marriage, and they now put these expectations on their wife to perform like a porn star, and she's not a porn star. And you have to realize that person's acting.
And not only that, but even for guys, it hinders you from actually finding the woman that God has for you. Because you'll always be looking for that girl who fits the image of that porn, or the image of that magazine, or the image of that model. And in your mind, you're looking for an exterior point of view and perspective, but you miss the actual interior, the internal beauty that a woman holds. And that's something God had to really speak to me about. And that thing broke me down, because in this time of waiting myself, like, the deliverance process is not only, come out, all that stuff. It's not just that, but it's also just the teaching and re-understanding, and the downloading of the truth of who God made women to be, and how they work in your life, and who you are. So you're not looking for just any girl, but the one that God has for you. So how you see women, and literally I had to go through a season where God just showed me my friends and my female friends, not in a way of just saying, like, like, go after them, but show me that they're beautiful just as they are. And I literally had a season where I got to realize that, these girls around me are beautiful, and they're gonna make some guy happy, and I had to be available to open and available to realize like it's the same way God's gonna bring a woman in my life, and she may not look like that model that I saw. She may not look like that celebrity. She may not look like that porn star, and that's perfectly fine.
And she may not perform like the porn star.
And that's perfectly fine, guys, because I'm honestly, truthfully, that's perfectly fine, because your desire would not be just your satisfaction, but your desire will be pleasing her and whatever it takes to do that. And it's not just going to be sex.
Right. Exactly. Because like we said, you ain't going to be having sex all day, every day.
I have sex some days, but listen, not all day, every day.
Hopefully every day if that's your desire.
Bless the Lord, my soul. No.
But for the other people who may not want to, or for a lot of women, they don't just get off on sex. So I think a lot of men don't understand that you build up to sex.
Exactly.
All of my married friends say their husbands have to be starting from the morning, hello beautiful, hit them up on lunch, hit them up after work to buy some flowers, maybe cook dinner. Like, you build up to it because women have to be built. Men are ready to go at any time, every second of the day. Like, that's just them. But women have to be built up to that. So they're not porn stars that you turn on the camera and they're ready to go. Like, it just doesn't happen like that. So I think something you hit on that's so important is men have these expectations of women based on like celebrities or porn stars. And you have to realize those expectations may be keeping you from your wife. So you're looking for big booty Judy, and maybe you're going to get flat Teletubby or something.
Fat Teletubby.
No, flat. I said flat.
Flat.
Flat, like flat, but
So flat Teletubby.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So you never know who God is going to give to you. And a lot of the times, the people that I see that are married and happy, they're marrying people that they never thought they would marry.
True.
Like,
that's true.
Everybody's like, yeah, no, I never thought I'd marry him, or I never thought I'd marry her. So you have to be in a place where you really seek God about the person that he has for you, because it may be completely out of the sphere that you're looking in, and you're focused on this one thing, and God's like, no, I have something way better, and that's going to fit who you are way better.
The best thing we can look for is quality, guys. And God will highlight the quality. Like, I'm be honest, man, like going to nightclubs and going out and meeting girls and picking people up, and these locations, it was just like trash. I'm sorry, it was trash. Like, when you come out and you realize, like it's like like you went for an image, but at the end of the day it had no value. You went for something that looked like what it's called, like gold plate, but it had no value.
It was a rusty.
I'm telling you, but when you realize that there's someone who literally have a brain and beauty, and it's not just external, but it's internal, you find something that you can say, no, this is worth taking home to mom. This is something that's worth building a future with, building a family with, and putting your finances with. Like, if you won't trust her with your money, listen, that's what it's at, man. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's going to be. You have to invest your entire life into it.
That's good.
So yeah.
Awesome. So would you describe yourself as thriving or just surviving in your singleness?
You say that, I think about a pool. Thriving or surviving. I had to learn how to swim, so like at an early age. For me, I would say you don't know how to swim?
I'm learning.
Okay.
Are you judging?
I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like,
okay.
this
I'm
Miami.
Learning. I'm getting better. I started moving my arms.
This is Miami. We're surrounded by water and we are below sea level.
I know, but I just haven't learned.
Because you say thriving or surviving, like surviving, I think that's when you're treading water, and thriving, and that's when you know how to control yourself in the water, and you're mastering the waves or whatever. And I mean, listen, some of us out here drowning, like you jump in, you say yes, but you're not making it.
Right.
But I am thriving. I feel like I've owned this thing now, and it's not that I'm beast mode and I'm like, no, and I don't see anything and I'm just invincible. That's not the case. The Bible says, take heed lest you fall. Yes. So I'm always vigilant, watching to make sure I'm good. But at the same time, I feel like, I know I'm more responsible, more mature about it, and I know what I'm looking for. So I have a standard, and I'll say, listen, man, I'm single, and something I said of last year, I'm going to enjoy my singlehood.
Right.
And when you realize that I have to take some time for me and enjoy my life I hang out with my single friends. I hang out with my married friends, and I hang out by myself. I do things that I feel like is quality that I want to invest in. I pursue things. I pursued my degree. I'm pursuing a business. I'm pursuing personal endeavors, and I'm making sure that I'm building while I'm waiting. And I want to make sure that I have a place for her to live in. I want to make sure there's an empire for my queen. So.
That's awesome. Listen, men, don't be trying to get these women and you ain't
got nothing to bring to the table.
You ain't got 2 pennies
like,
to rub together.
bring
you want her to move in with your mom?
Bring something to the table. At least have a dream.
Something. Listen, a dream will work.
Get a vision board and tell her what you want to give her. I'm gonna give you this. We're gonna work towards. Give her something. She'll help me. Gotta give her something to help with.
It's something to work with.
Something to work with.
You can't be wanting to invite women to come stay at your mama's house after y'all get married. It's just not gonna work.
I told some guys the other day, Prince Harry just married what's her name?
Meghan Markle.
Meghan. So and people, this girl she got divorced, but then she was 37 years old, 36, 37 years old. And listen, man, you can be your own Prince Charming. You can be the prince
your level of Prince Charming.
Exactly. Be the prince of education. Be the prince of finances. Accomplish something that you can put to your name. That you can say, listen, I'm moving towards something. Come run with me. So
exactly.
And make her feel like she is like a queen. Make her feel like she just got into the palace, Buckingham,
Awesome. Listen, ladies, he got a palace waiting for y'all.
Not yet, but I'm gonna give you a palace.
All right, awesome. Okay, so I feel like we kind of answered this, but what led to your choice to wait? When you were in the world and then you said you came and you continued to fall even after you gave your life back to Christ.
Yeah.
What was that final thing that led to you waiting and saying, okay, I'm really gonna do this for real?
The final thing that made me just really just grip myself was I remember this one time that I went out and I had sex, and I literally laid up in that bed, and I honestly, everything was we were finished, and I'm just I'm here again. It was like that, I'm here again. And honestly, I didn't even want to stay. I was I'm gonna head home, and I'm going home, and I'm I can't believe this happened again. I'm talking to God I'm sorry, and I'm I'm doing that whole thing again.
Yeah.
And I was just bro, why do I always have to come back and say I'm sorry? Why don't I catch this before?
Right.
And I was no, I'm gonna say, I have so much to live for. And what happened was, I had a friend who came up to me and they was hey, I'm going through this situation. Can you help me? When they said that, not knowing that I was in the same situation.
Oh, they thought you were living holy?
They thought, well, not at that time. I was fresh. But they saw that I was trying to make a change,
Oh, okay.
So, and they're hey, can you help me? And I was in my head, I'm trying to help myself. But the fact that in that moment, someone looked at me as someone they can possibly come to for direction and assistance, showed that there was a level of demand on my life, and even in the beginning, a glimmer of hope that there was a leader inside of me that they were looking for. And I felt accountable to say, let me try to help you. And I'm trying to give advice, but I felt as if my advice didn't have any weight to it. And I wanted to build that weight. I wanted to build that level of sense of truth behind my words. So it was from that point I said, I gotta get this thing down packed. I became accountable with my leader, and I put those convictions into myself that I gotta get this right.
Wow, that's
Plus,
so
I want to get married. I want to get married the right way.
Awesome. So something that he said that was really important, I think, and I believe that was God leading someone to ask you for help.
Yeah.
That would kind of push you. You couldn't do it in your own strength, so God was pushing you in someone asking you for help. And my mentor always says, what is that one thing that you're willing to live right for? You're willing to really go hard after God. So my mentor talks about at one time she was in adultery in her marriage, and the thing that really pushed her to stop cheating and doing all these other things on the side was her son. Her son found out about it, and it was getting teased at school, and for her that was the cutoff point. I can't have my son out here with all this stuff. He's hearing all these things. So I think the question I would put to the viewers is, what is that one thing that pushes you to stop sinning, to really go hard after God, to really give your life to Christ, to really commit to him, because you have to have that one thing. For me, it was, I really got to a place where I was like, man, I really love God. I want to love God way more than I love sex, or I love, being in these terrible relationships. So you have to find that one thing that's really going to put you in a place where if you don't have nothing else, you I hung on to the fact that I love God. Even when I really wanted to go out and have sex or call somebody, I really hung on to the fact that I really want to serve him. I want to do this for real. So
that's good.
What is that one thing for you? That's the question to y'all. Y'all can put that in the comments. So what do you think was the biggest struggle you had to overcome in order to really surrender your life to Christ?
Surrender my life to Christ completely.
When you came back and you really were surrendering, like, what was that thing that really...
The biggest thing was my friends.
Really?
That was the soul tie of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't, and
you can have soul ties with friends, guys.
That was like, honestly, like, these were my boys, like the ride or die, the ones that you said that you would like legit go to the ends of the earth for, the ones you went on trips with, the ones that you drank with, the ones with all the stories of your life, and the ones you build those relationship with. And it was hard. It was the hardest fight of my life, because God was bringing me one way,
right,
and I literally wanted to be the person to grab my friends and bring them with me. But when I realized that they were influencing me to go back to the world rather than me going towards God,
right,
God was like, we can't have this.
Right.
We couldn't have this. And it was a struggle. It was the biggest fight, because they helped foster that environment of continuing going or wanting to desire to go back into the world and engage in everything that God delivered me from. So it wasn't easy.
Friends will sometimes make you want to just go back into the world, especially the friends that are really really close friends. I had, when I really decided that I was gonna start,
and it's the ones you love the most.
Ones you love.
I mean,
I had the biggest fight with one of my closest friends when I really decided that I wanted to really follow after Christ. I knew, listen, so when I moved to Miami, this is in 2009. So 2010, all my friends were coming to Miami for Memorial Weekend. I said, Lord, just have me, let me have this one last weekend, and then I'm going to come to you. First of all, Mishu read some of the Divine Revelation of Hell to us. I could have died in my sin.
Listen.
I could have died and went to hell asking God for one last weekend of
and
fun.
Memorial Weekend in Miami? Oh my God.
All my friends came down. I mean, when I'm telling you pissy drunk, just dumb stuff. The dumbest stuff. And after that weekend, for real, I stopped drinking. I stopped having sex. Like, I just knew, I had made up in my mind that I was going to give God my life, for real. And I was telling one of my friends, she was like, you were just drinking with us like the other week. She was like, so that means you were judging us when we were drunk? And I was like, I was just as drunk as you guys. Like, I wasn't judging you. But I knew in my heart what I was gonna do. So that caused like this big, huge, where we didn't talk for a few months.
Wow.
Because she really just didn't get it. She didn't get the fact that 2 seconds ago I was drunk with them, and then I decided that I was gonna follow Christ. So you have to decide, like he said, are you gonna be the one that influences your friends, or are you gonna allow them to pull you back into the world? Because that soul tie. And it's not it's not bad to have soul ties with your friends.
It's not.
But when it's a bad connection.
David and Jonathan had a soul tie, and they were friends. But I'm gonna tell you, you said your friend didn't get it, and you guys went the different ways. I came and I told my friends, and I literally told them, I told them everything. Listen, guys, I'm telling you the straight up truth. I went and told my best friend at the time, and I literally was dreading to tell him that I'm like going to live for the Lord. I was dreading to tell him, and I literally was crying because this was like the best. Like, honestly, I'm growing up, I didn't really have best friends. Like, I didn't have guys who, like, I literally had like brothers around me, and I was crying because this guy was like borderline atheist, like that, like didn't want to do anything with God. And then he was like, it's cool, love you, man, like let's do this, man, like, and not saying come to Christ, like, but I understood. But then, so I was like, all right, we cool, man. There's we stay, we good. But then still, it allowed the influence to still work on me. And it wasn't a matter of me being cool with him, but it was a matter of me being right with me. Strong enough to be able to walk away and not allow him to hold me back. And you got to know like what environment that you're allowing to be fostered and you know, taken care of or nurtured in your life. For me, God had to take care of that. And you know, believe it or not, 2 years later, God was able to bring back around that now I'm a voice into this person's life.
Have they come to Christ?
So, they haven't come to Christ yet. They haven't, but they come for advice. They know that there is godly wisdom and they know prayer, the standard is there. You know, so but sow those seeds, man. Like legit, you can sow those seeds. And honestly, like I'm not waiting for you just to repeat a prayer. I want you to receive Christ with your whole heart. Right. And if we got to do piece by piece, then that's all right with me.
Yeah, that's good. Has there been any challenges like in your waiting season, the time where now you're...
Man, you want to know the challenges are? The friends that's supposed to be waiting with you.
What?
The friends, the ones who always have an opinion. The family members, everyone.
Oh my God.
This is a challenge. These are the challenges. Where are my grandkids? And when are you getting married? And you see that girl right there? Why don't you go talk? Like I mean, like yo, like it was. Everyone has an opinion, a perspective, a choice, a preference. Everyone has a list. I mean, I have friends out there who are taking bets. I promise, they're taking bets.
On what?
They're taking bets on year, what age will I get married at? They're taking bets on which girl, like say which any girl they see around me, seeing how close I get to this girl. They're picking on that. Which nationality? Will she be black, white, Hispanic, Asian? I mean, they're out here talking.
And he has a lot of pressure because now you're like a man in ministry. He's leading a cell group.
Yeah.
So
I'm visible. I'm in a place where I'm visible and I'm very involved with people. But for me, it's not. I feel, honestly, I'm gonna be truthful. I do feel like God is pushing me now into the place of being, preparing that place to invite a woman into my life. But I mean, like, I want to be able to do this in a place where I don't feel like the camera and like paparazzi's following me. I want to be able to feel free enough to explore my relationship with whoever I choose. You know, like, come on, if I say yes to somebody and they say no to me, I don't need this to be in the tabloids, you know? So.
But listen, there are people, there's a big, like, Christian person. Him and his girl been dating for 3 years, and now he had to come on Instagram and tell everybody they're not together anymore. Y'all need to be really careful about what y'all putting out on the internet.
I want to be low key with this thing. Like, I mean,
listen, when I get married, y'all find out, because I'm not playing with. I've done it once, let people know who I was dating, and it crashed and burned. I'm not doing it again. But you have to be really, especially if you're a church leader, and I'm being very serious.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that's in ministry, you lead a ministry. You have something like iWaited, you have to be really discerning about what you put out there.
Yeah.
Like, I guard, listen, if I go to dinner with somebody, we going darn near to West Palm Beach to go to dinner, because I don't need somebody to see me out and then it doesn't work out and they're like, hey, what happened to so-and-so? No. Yeah. So you have to be really discerning about what you put out and really know.
And even if you are a person in leadership and you are leading people, their lives are involved in your relationship. Like, I'll be honest, like, I mean, I mentor a large group of people. The cell group that I lead has a large group as well, and I'm involved deeply in ministry. And I'm not going to try to bring someone, publicize her, and it's like this big old thing, and she's not right, and, you know, and people build relationship with her. Like, listen, like, you are building a relationship with that person, but they're also building a relationship with your relationships as well. Right. And it's very hard for your friends to have to unfriend your friend after they got a good friendship with them. Now they're trying to choose between, like, I mean, I always loved you because we had history, but I mean, we good too. Like, you know, like we friends. So you just have to be wise about that. And honestly, I take that serious as well, because my relationship with the people I mentor is really, really strong, and she will have to be their mentor as well. So she will have to be a voice that speaks into their lives. And also, like, I wouldn't want someone, you know, coming in there talking garbage.
Listen, so you just have to be discerning. And then you have to also understand, as a leader in the Christian community, you have an obligation, once something ends and people were looking to you, to offer an explanation. So the thing I saw the person say, like, I don't really feel like I should offer explanation. Yes, you should. You have an obligation to offer an explanation because
we were a part of this with you.
This was our relationship. We loved her. Now we have to let her go because
now I gotta unfollow her because
because y'all not dating no more. And you brought her all onto the, you know what I mean? So those things, and people really invest. Now, I mean, I wasn't as invested in their relationship, but I'm just saying, people invest, people follow you, and people, you know, follow you as you follow Christ. And now people are sad all over the place because they've broken up.
Don't do that.
You just don't want it. Don't, just wait till y'all married. Listen, my friend popped up on Instagram, hey guys, meet my husband. I was like, well, dang. So
no wedding invite, like
no
courthouse.
No, not even. And I think, well, yeah, they had a really small. I don't even think her parents were there. Really small, and her pastor married them, and that's it. So, however you want to do it, but I'm just saying, be discerning, please. Just don't do it. So you mentioned getting backlash from. Well, I don't know if it's backlash from
Not
like
backlash,
friends and family.
but everyone just got an opinion, and honestly, like. And sometimes it's, I mean, I'll be honest, like it's not that they're negative or it's just sometimes when they mount up too much and it's too frequent, like it's like, all right, I get it. I'm single. I get it, you know, like, you know, or, and it's like all these other single people, but why, you know, I'm sorry, I just.
Go ahead. Get it out, Dalton, get it out.
Gotta get delivered right now. All these other single people, but you know, they put a mark on you because they have an expectation for you. And honestly, I appreciate that. You do believe that, you know, that I'm so good that I need to procreate, that there should be more of me. I think, you know.
I don't think that's what they're saying.
Or, you know, that they should double up, get married. You know, like, no, whatever. Whatever. But, it's just when it's overbearing, it becomes annoying, you know? Yeah. And that's the only thing, like, and honestly, like, I know some of you guys, that's good. Well, one thing I've learned to do, I don't take it personal. I literally joke about it, I let it go, and I just move on because, like, for me personally, like, you don't understand my life and you don't know where I am. And, like, I want my marriage to work, and there's so many people who have opinions, and they come from, you know, a broken marriage previously, or, you know, they went through like 13 different girls before they found the girl for their life, and they have all this different history, and I want to make sure the future I'm giving her is not coming with baggage. Right. So I don't take your opinion personally because there's only one voice I need to listen to, and that's God's, and I listen to that internal conviction at the same time. So say what you want to say.
Whoever you are, whoever else is talking to you. So what are some practical tips that you would give to men who are waiting in their waiting season? Like, what are some practical tips that they can use to kind of guard themselves or whatever?
Listen, enjoy your singlehood. I mean, what is the most practical thing you can do is just be you completely. Just like you gotta just be. You have to build your life. Like, you have to build yourself up. And I'm not saying that, you know, you gotta put on this show. Just enjoy your life. Enjoy being who you are, because you don't wanna, like, when people go on dates, they don't come and they bring the best of their life. They bring the representative. But just be authentic. Do the things that you do. Like, for me personally, I'm into fitness now. I started working now, and I took that as a personal hobby. But things I'm trying to, y'all. I'm trying. But things I've done, I picked up golfing. Like, personally, I picked up golfing. I used to do this years ago, and honestly, I know, you know, people got words to say about this, but horseback riding was one of my favorite things growing up. So fix your face. But
where are you riding these horses?
In Homestead. It's
Go ahead.
I had to say the location. The White Star Farm is in Homestead.
Oh, you didn't have to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, y'all catch me out there. And I saw you. Like, yeah, leave me alone. I'm joking.
Are you wearing the jockey pants and all that stuff?
No. I just wear jeans and just ride a horse. And honestly, I do things that I want to do.
He was on a staycation. I saw him on his Instagram.
I honestly, legit, like, I did staycation.
Living life.
And I enjoy my life. I have friends who are quality to me, who are you know, like, who do life with me, and they understand where I am, where I'm going, and they hold me accountable, and we're able to enjoy living. Honestly, like, just enjoy living life and keep it positive. Like, I'm not trying to be deep. I'm not trying to be super spiritual, but in a practical world, do the things that are positive. You know, go to the movies and watch a movie. Like, go with your friends. If they're married and you're single, fine. They're gonna sit next to each other. You're gonna be sitting next to them anyway. Like, you know, it's not
Well,
like
you go as the third wheel.
No, I have, but I don't often. If
I'd rather go alone.
I don't have a preference for me because I don't see a difference. If they're my friends and it's not a romantic movie.
Well, no, if you have those friends that don't make you feel weird, but if you have the friends that are sucking face while you sit next to them.
I mean, we in a movie theater. Like, come on, like
people are sucking face.
If it's that type of like, I pay to watch the movie. And I'm not like, and quite frankly, I'm not looking at nobody next to me. Like, I went to iPick, and you know, you sitting in those love seats like this. I'm sitting in this chair with some random girl, and honestly, my back is like this. And I'm enjoying my movie, and I don't care, like, legit, like, for real, like, I'm just like, yo, like, enjoy your life and live it up, like, go on trips, like, live life, man, and you never know, the thing that you're doing, that you're enjoying, may be the place that you meet the woman that God has for you, you know, and that can be y'all thing. Like, I can go out there horseback riding and run into, you know, you know, Rebecca, Susie Q. It can be Letitia, you know, it can be, you know, anyone, any girl out there, and I run into this girl and start talking and start a relationship, a friendship, and from there it can be the path to my life. So you never know. Do the things that are right for you, and you'll see what God does.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll close out with this question. So what would you say to men who want to wait or who have thought about waiting but don't think that they can?
You can do it. It's a decision. At the end of the day, all you're doing is make a decision, and you're making a decision every day. So if you feel like, I want to but I can't, what's stopping you? Right. What is the thing that's preventing you? Because, like, you're literally you make a decision for everything in your life. You make a choice for every single thing in your life. You make a decision if you're going to brush your teeth in the morning, what socks, shoes, shirt you're going to wear that day, what time you're going to get to work, if you're going to go early, if you're going to go late, whatever. You make a decision for everything. So when it comes to your life, you can make a decision today. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to live holy. I'm going to live right. I'm going to live pure. And every single day you make the decision, you make that choice, and if you need to make it verbally, say it out loud. But you make that decision it's your internal conviction where you don't have to tell yourself, it'll become who you are. And it's not going to be easy. Just find somebody that you can be accountable with. Find someone who's married. Find a guy who's already married, and talk to them like, listen, man, I want what you have, and I want to go about it, getting it this way. How can I do it? Can you help me? Can I be accountable with you? Can you look out for me? And believe it or not, there's more guys who will realize now from a place of being married that says, you know what? I'd rather help you succeed because the process that I went through was harder for me, and I think it'll be better if you do it this way. And they will help you and support you. So you don't gotta be out there with your boys, because sometimes our boys are the ones that's like, nah, man, they're right there with you, and they prefer you to be in sin with them. Right. But sometimes you gotta be the one that says, no, I'm gonna make a difference. And especially guys, if you're out there and you know your family has a lineage, or you see that a generational curse of divorce, you know, one of the biggest things that allow that is adultery. Somewhere along the line there was either adultery or undealt with desires that dealt with fornication or desires with pornography. One of those things intertwine into these marriages, and it continues down the line. And you can be the plot twist to this in your family's line by being the one to decide that I'm purifying the slate. I'm cleaning this thing up. I'm going to live right so my wife and I can build a foundation that our children can thrive in, that they don't need to survive or they don't need to drown in when it comes to being pure and holy and living the right way.
That's so good. And we didn't even touch on that, but Dalton opened up something where people see all these patterns in their family bloodline, but no one's standing up to say, I'm going to do something different. Like, no one. And two things you brought up. So the first thing with the lineage, someone has to stand up in the bloodline and say, I'm going to do something different. And I talked about this briefly at my event. There are no married couples in my family, like legit. Like, I can't think of like one person in my family who's married. My mom got married, but she got married to a man who God literally told her not to marry. And so, you know, so that, I don't count that as a legitimate marriage, but I've never seen anyone married. All of my nieces and nephews are born out of wedlock. So I've stood up as the person within my bloodline that says, I'm going to do something different. no, I'm not going to have anybody's kid before they marry me. I'm not going to continue in fornication knowing that I want to get married. If you want something, you have to do what it takes to get that something. So if you want to be married and you want to be in a marriage that honors God, you have to first honor him in your singleness. So you have to do something different. You have to break those generational curses in your family. And like he said, there is a lust, perversion, fornication, adultery somewhere in your bloodline that makes it to where nobody can stay married. So I've never seen anybody married, but some people, everybody in their family gets divorced, or they're all in these terrible marriages. So you have to be the person that changes that. And the second thing you said was about people who are married and may have not done it right. The thing you have to realize is the process of purity and sanctification and holiness. There's a reason why God wants us to do things a certain way, because there's certain processes we shouldn't have to go through in marriage, because you entered into marriage with perversion on your coattail or whatever, or you're still struggling with pornography. There's just certain things God would rather process out of you in your singleness, but a lot of people don't get that chance, and that's okay. But if you have the chance to live holy and live righteous in your singleness so that you can enter marriage, I think paces ahead of people who did it before you, then do that. I don't think we see the value in walking in purity and abstinence, but there's reasons why God does things the way that he does them. So I will leave you guys with that. I will close out with this. I did write, so I wrote a 21-day purity devotional, 21 days of prayer and purity. And so it's purifying your life, mind, body, and soul. And Dalton has actually been going through the devotional. I have. He started, not completely yet. I'm not there yet. He's not complete yet. You're like you should be on
this is day 14. What is 14. It? 14. Yeah. I haven't done it today yet. This morning. But honestly, guys, I'm going to be honest. This is not a girl's book. I know it's pink. I couldn't help it. I'm really girly. It's very feminine, but the information here is something that someone only that is brave, strong, and willing to take care of. I mean, it's literally you exposing yourself to challenges and you speaking towards things in your life where you're actually saying, God, deal with this. God, purify my eyes from this and my motives and my desires. It really goes and it's really in depth. Truly it is. It's so much so, I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't write on the page. There's places in there to journal. I didn't write on the page. I actually put it into my own journal because I want to be able to sow this back into someone else's life, and actually I want to sow it into another guy's life because I want to be able to say, you know what, this blessed me and I want them to get blessed by it too. Or I can just give them the link and let them buy it themselves. But get this.
Yeah, why are you gonna give your book away?
I know, I forgot because you also signed it, but yeah, mine is signed, but I won't give it away. Never mind, it's original copy.
Don't be giving away. No, but I still wanted to give away. But no, this is a devotional that I've written, and it's really something that I truly believe that Holy Spirit gave me in terms of purity, not just being about not having sex, but you have to purify your entire life, especially when you're someone. And I keep talking about this, but if you're someone that's in ministry or wants to be in ministry or know that you're going to be in ministry, I really believe that God is calling a people that will actually submit their entire lives to him and be in a place where you can serve him with no hindrances. And the Bible says, let there not even be like a hint of sin and unrighteousness.
Be blameless.
Blameless. And so in order to be blameless, you have to examine your entire life, and you have to make sure that everything that's in your life lines up with the Word of God. And that's why I wrote this devotional. So you can definitely check it out on Amazon. And also if you go to www.iwaitedblog.com, you can get it there as well. And
you can download it on your phone. Like you can download it on Kindle. Like that was a point that everyone was so excited about. I told them that it's on Kindle. Yeah. You can download it. So if you're not a paperback type person, get it on your phone, get it on your Kindles and enjoy it.
Yeah. So I'm a physical person. I like to write. I write in everything. If you look at my Bible, I write all up and through it. Yeah. So definitely, if you want to do that, also there's t-shirts. So if you go to shop.spreadshirt.com/iWaitedBlog, there's t-shirts there. Just so many different things happening with the blog. So definitely check out the website, check out the t-shirts, the devotional, the YouTube channel, and all of these good things. And share this video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure if you have any comments, questions, make sure you can comment below. Send questions to iwaitedblog@gmail.com, and also prayer requests, whatever you may need, or any comments or any points of discussion. But yeah, I really enjoyed this interview with you, Dalton. This was so good.
This is awesome.
I was kind of worried because he was like, "How deep you about to get in my life?"
Honestly, I'm like, "Yo, like we about to get into this thing a little." All right, let's do it.
I can't. No, so this was really good, really, really good, and I'm so happy that that there are men like you that will speak to other men and let them know that it's possible. Men are always saying men can't do it because it's too hard for them, and women.
By yourself, you can't do it, but with God, all things are possible, man.
Amen.
Amen. Don't get me started. I'm ready to preach.
He's so churchy.
Honestly, listen, man. Like you live holy for God, you love Him, it just sometimes just come out.
Yeah. What's in you will come out.
Hey, shaman. Don't. Sorry.
Awesome. So thank you, Dalton, for joining me,
It was a
and
pleasure.
thank you guys for watching. Make sure you share the video, and love you guys. Peace.
See you later.